Let's try it. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you guys hear me? Everything looks good, sounds good, please tell me. Loud and clear. Okay, give me a few seconds. When I rebooted, it started a different one. So just give me a moment. And then guess what? It's the start of the year, so it made me reset my password. It made me reset my password. It was one of those where when you reset your password, you type in like 4 or 5 different passwords, and then it just says you can't use your old one. So you guys got to. That's why you heard me typing. That's why you heard me typing. Yeah, I'm gonna adjust the title. Give me just a moment. I have to go through and verify everything on my end, so it takes just a moment. Why 25K? I know. Give me just a second to go through this on my thing. Let's go through. But as I go through there, as I was saying before I lost the buffer in the internet, how was everyone's trading day? I seen there was a little bit of a mixed. So some traders were doing positive, negative. It is Friday. Friday, the end of the trading day, and I am in the middle of a trade. Let's see if I could pull up my live account, and you guys could watch my trade while I get a few things set up here. Here's my live account. Let's see if I could pull up the trade. I'm long the Nikkei, long the NKD. And while I am doing that, as always, in the YouTube chat, there is the Top Step risk disclosure. Everything that I say and do and go through tonight is for educational purposes only. As always, I'm getting a few things set up on my end while we get it smoothed out. I thought it was Thursday. Nope. Well, it could be Thursday depending on where you're at, but the trading, it's Friday's trading day. It's Friday's trading day. Isn't the Nikkei closed? Everything's open right now. It's the futures market. Futures are open. Let's see if I could now go through and get in to everything that it kicked me out of. It's the new year. If I can remember my passwords. Passwords are the worst. Passwords are the worst thing to remember. And don't tell me use a password thing. Let's go through. I think I'm good now. Let's get through it. Good to go. I'm going to edit the title, and then we'll be off to the races. You guys can hear me typing. Is Nikkei cheaper? I don't know. You can see my entry is at 39,430, and what I'm looking at is on this higher time frame. And big shout out to Danielle. She's in the chat. We can see this was major support, right? This was major resistance, resistance support. This is a key level. This 39,400 level is a very key level. Looks like we're kind of consolidating around there. Starting to show as a little bit of support. Every single time we sell off down, on this little bit lower end, we've bounced right back up, and tonight again, as you can see, we were kind of holding this. Tonight. This is why I got into a long, was that we were holding it, and I'm looking for this market to possibly rotate back up here towards this upper end, towards 39,600, 600 to 640. Maybe it will allow me to keep a runner, and then maybe have a final target up here towards these 750s. Not sure. We're going to see how it plays out. My stop loss is at 39,220, and then I'll talk a little bit about my analytics. I spent most of my New Year's Eve, New Year's Day going through my trading gear, going through obviously data analytics and my trading gear. And so I'm going to share a little bit about that. I also got Top Steps email, that kind of the year-end review. I'll go ahead and share that as well. But there's a few key things that I wanted to address about my trading gear, because I am one who is very, very critical about my own trading, which, I mean, sometimes I debate whether, like, how critical I should be in my own trading. Anyway, give me 1 second. I'm going to change the name of the title of this, and then we will be good. Who else is very critical in their own trading? Anybody else in the chat? I'm sure everyone, if you're a true trader, you're always overcritical. Very me so, the worst I am. We are, I mean, it kind of goes down the route that we are our own worst critic, right? Like, regardless of anybody you see on social media and all the drama and the crap that, like, is out there, ultimately, at the end of the day, we are our own self-critic. We are our worst critic. Sometimes we're the hardest on ourselves. And that's kind of maybe where I struggle, is because I can be a little bit too hard on myself. Yeah, I could be a bit too hard on myself sometimes. Let's see. Well, there we go. I edited it. Slow markets with Coach Dakota. We are good to go. And the team will be able to help me figure out the rest from there. Now, that being said, yeah, I went through this year in review. As we go through this, you guys could watch this trade. And a lot of my trades, now, I kind of knew this going into the analytics, the way that December treated me. December was one of my tougher months for the year. Actually, July was a bad month for me, and then December was another bad month, and the rest was, average. The rest was the average. I finished the year up, 545,000, I believe. I don't know the exact dollar amount. I'm only talking about Top Step. I'm only talking about day trading futures. I'm only talking about what I'm doing here at Top Step, and what I do in front of everybody in terms of what I am going to be reviewing tonight. So I took just to do a little bit of summary. Let me see if I could actually pull up the email and show everybody, because I focus on my live account, and I didn't take in any consideration of combines, right? So not looking at the combines, only looking at my live account. Everything else does not really matter to me. Mostly the live account. The live account is what I take as the most serious. Let me see if I could go ahead and pull up this email, and then I'll go through it. It's an interesting thing. It's very, very interesting. If I could pull up these, actually, I think it would be better just to take a screenshot, and then I'll go through this. So here's the screenshot, and this is my live account, and I'll have to just double confirm whether that is, because to start the year out, and I'm going to go through this. To start the year out, I started in NinjaTrader. NinjaTrader was my platform of choice. I started the year out in NinjaTrader. I was day trading. I've been trading futures in front of everybody. And I started everything in, let's see if I could go ahead. I'm going to pull this up so I could blow it up a little bit better. Give me a second. Let's go through and... I want to make sure everyone could see this, and I want to talk a little bit. Tonight's going to be a little bit special because we had that technical difficulty. I had that issue, obviously, so I unfortunately had to go through and do that. Let me go through and get to my screenshots and do that. There we go. That's a little bit better. So let's zoom in here, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how my year went, and then we'll get to the markets a little bit later. We'll always have time to get to the markets. We'll talk about them a little bit later. Let's see if I could go through and clean that up. Okay. Can everybody see this? Everybody should be able to see this now. I'll zoom out. We'll go through each one of these statistics, and then I'll talk about it. The thumbnail's the same. I'll go through and adjust it. Don't worry about that. As long as you're able to find the stream here, you are good to go. Now, you can see this. I started, and I'm thinking that this was... Yeah, I think this was... I'll have to double check everything on here, But I want to talk about some of the main points, of this. And I'm going to talk about absolutely everything. I don't care. In terms of transparency, it is what it is. I finished the year up 540,000. The way it started was I started as a coach here at Top Step, as I started actually hanging out in Discord and talking to some traders, enjoying the banter back and forth. I didn't start trading until the end of January. Near the end of January is when I first started trading a Top Step account, and there was some banter back and forth on social media, right? And so I was like, okay, let's go ahead. I'm gonna start trading. I'm gonna see and kind of show everybody by doing. I might not be as great of a coach and as great of a teacher as Coach Jay or Coach Vince or Coach Paul or any of those other coaches. I'm going to show traders by doing. And by doing that, I have to go through that whole entire process of, starting a combine, trading a combine, and then going through and passing a combine and, getting funded, and then trading an XFA, and then trading the XFA consistent enough to receive payouts, and then get into a live account, and then focus on the live account and only trade the live account. And so I went through when I did that whole process starting in June. And then I got I believe my funded account or my live account in February. And then in February, March, and April, and then February, March, April, May, I grew the account up to 250,000, and then I took $189,000 as a payout. So basically $200,000 throughout that period of time. And then July, I struggled. I had a really negative drawdown, and then I decided to switch platforms. I went from NinjaTrader to Top Step X, because Top Step X, it's new. I'm with any new Top Step X is still only a year, not even a year old, right? Top Step X is still less than a year old. And so I was like, okay, let's do it. I'm going to test out Top Step X. I'm going to learn Top Step X. And just like any learning curve, you'll have its ups and downs, right? So you go through the learning curves. Man, I just got my teeth whitened, and they're starting to hurt. Now, that being said, with anything, there is a learning curve. And when learning a new platform, when learning a new strategy, when, learning through anything, you go through that learning curve, and there might be a drawdown. And so I did that. And when I switched platforms, I had to start from scratch again. So started from scratch, started combines in Top Step X, went through that whole same process. And trust me, the risk management team does not give me any benefit than anybody else in this chat, right? Where I'm not treated any different. Trust me, I wish I was, where I could just jump straight into a live account or any of that. I went through the same process as everybody else. And so with all of that being the case, I started in Top Step X, went through the process once again. This is the beginning of August. Went through the combines, got funded, got XFAs, got my live account. I continued traded XFAs while I had my live account. I kept going through that, testing things out, and grew the account up to what I think it was like $300,000. Now this is completely separate. This is because I had to start over again. When you switch platforms, withdrew all the money, completely switched to Top Step X, and started all over again. So starting from zero, scratch, day one, and then made $300,000 in August, all the way up to the beginning of December, right? Or actually, even November, actually, $300,000 to November. Continue to grow it. 380,000 was my high watermark. 380,000 was my high watermark for this account. And now my current account balance is 360,000. $357,000, give or take, depending on the day, plus or minus $5,000, because that's typically my average day, plus or minus $5,000. And so, yeah, high water mark 180,000. Right now, I'm sitting at 360,000. And I just finished the end of the year. It was nice because I ended the year off with such a great day. I was down 5,000 and I ended up, plus 12,000 to end the year. And then I got to go through and review all my statistics, and here are some of them. In this particular account, it's 103 days. A lot of trades, and I'm curious. I don't think these are individual trades where all in, all out. Some of this does count towards scaling in. I'm pretty sure where I'll buy one, buy two, buy three, buy four, and then maybe I close out, scaling in, scaling out. But this is something I wanted to point out, and I tell traders this all the time. It's not unknown, right? Where 36%. Average winning days. That's about my win percentage on my winning trades as well. This was pretty high. My winning trade percentage is really high for this account. Winning trade percentage 48.8. That is typically closer to 36%. This is a pretty high winning trade percentage for this account, and typically for how I trade. So that's what I wanted to point out was my winning day percentage, 36%, winning trade percentage, 48.8. This is higher than my normal trading, which is interesting. It is definitely one of those that I'm really curious about, and I've been diving out. But take a look at this. My biggest day, we'll go through one by one. I don't really have a very big win streak, right? I don't really have a big win streak. 3 days worth of a win streak. My average losing streak, 1.5 days. My longest win streak was 12. My longest losing streak was 8. Everything seems normal. $20,000 for my biggest day. That seems about on par. Average number of winning days, 2.8. I haven't taken a payout since I got in this live account on TopStep X. And then 25 accounts every single time I go through. I don't think I've not had an XFA called up to live. Each of my XFAs have been called up to live. And once again, I still do not get treated any differently than anybody else here. This doesn't include my payouts from my NinjaTrader account on the first half of the year. This is including my current live account. So this is my current live account that you guys see in front of you, that I am in a losing trade right now. Perfect. Anyway, that being said, let's get to these markets. We'll go through our regular rapid fire that I didn't start. We're a little bit off. And JS Torres, just get veneers. I think I plan on getting veneers. They're a little bit expensive, but it's going to be worth it. I'm sick of having, I do have some sensitive teeth, and over a period of time, I think veneers for myself would be worth it. Now, outside of talking about personal hygiene, let's talk about the NASDAQ. We have been seeing a lot of volatility here in the NASDAQ in December. And when I mean a lot, I mean this is abnormal. The last time we've seen this type of volatility was back at the end of July, beginning of August. End of July, beginning of August. We are seeing that type of volatility since the middle of December. And I mean, today was another one of those days. We had that major sell-off. We came down towards 21,000 even, and this is a nice area of support and resistance. Today we came down again, tested at 21,000, and we've started to recover nicely. We're all the way back up to 21,002, lower to mid 200s. And on the daily chart, I am now really starting to see this as a decent buy the dip opportunity. Now given, anything can happen. Anything can really happen, right? I mean, nothing's perfect. I mean, there's always going to be what do you call it? Margin of error. Where is this exactly where we're going to be buying the dip? Or can we go lower? Yes, we can definitely go lower. If we do push lower and start to break, I could see us first get down to the 20,800s. 20,800s. This is a nice level of support, which was also resistance back here in September. This is going to be the first area, if we do start to break down, that I could see this market returning to. However, I am looking for opportunity to buy this dip. I am a buyer of this dip. I mean, every single time we've had major sell-offs, have been great buying opportunities. Now, it's a new year. It's 2025. It's the first and second trading day of the year. We did have an interesting market structure. We've had a major sell-off and then a major recovery. And then, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negative days in a row. 5 negative days in a row. And now, if we do start to break down and sell off and find some follow through, then can this possibly turn into a bearish market, right? Where we made a lower high, right? Lower high. And then are we going to be looking to make a lower low? That is a possibility. I'm not going to rule that out. However, I'm on the mindset of buying the dip. I like to buy these dips. This is a daily chart. And every single time we have a decent sell-off, I look at it as simply opportunity. And I'm going to say this. I mean, every single day I am watching a market sell-off, I'm always going to say the same thing. I really will. Is every sell-off, every panic, everything, every single time I see something like this, I look at it and say, great, this could be that opportunity that we're looking for. And if we do measured moves, right, we still have some room to go. I don't know. This can be an overextended measure move. If we take maybe something similar to what we've seen on this sell-off and we measure this, I mean, are we at a decent measured move? I'm not sure. It's hard to tell because it is a new year. And I know it's going to be one of those hindsight 2020s after the fact. But as we start to zoom in on an hourly chart, you can see we broke new lows, right? We broke down to 21,000, immediately rejected. We got this nice 3-bar reversal on an hourly chart. Obviously, that did come around lunchtime in the New York session. Great buying opportunity. We rallied right back up. And for a moment there, it looked like this was support. And this was, turning into resistance. This was what I was looking for the other day. I did take a loss. I don't know where it was. I think it was somewhere up here. I don't know. Maybe it was earlier last week or at the beginning of the week when I started the day off minus 5,000. This is kind of what I was looking for. This support was trying to become resistance, and we didn't. It didn't. It came for a little bit, right? It was resistance for a moment. We got down to 21,140s and immediately bounced, broke through that again. And so it's very realistic that we could see this market return to maybe these 330s. And then the next area and the next level I'm going to be looking for is going to be up here towards one of these highs near these, 400s. So these are the two zones that I'm watching going into tonight and tomorrow. I'm watching these 330s, and then I'm going to be watching up here into these mid to upper 400s just because we did break through that. And so I am a lot more bullish tonight than I have been in a little while. And that's because, one, we've sold off so far, right? Like this is a nice sell-off, and there could very well be some good buying opportunities around here. And take a look at that. We bounced just off of that. Maybe there's an argument to be made, and this is going to go towards my statistics review that I did. I'd love to talk more of it. I'm going to continue to talk more of it next week. About my own trading, and I'll talk more about it during Top Step TV during fast markets as well, about my own trading and some of the adjustments that I have made, some of the adjustments that I am going to be making depending on the trading day. And all it is just maybe looking for more smaller targets, and depending on the setup, that's kind of what I am going to be rooting for. I did miss an opportunity. Tonight. There was a good buy the dip example, I guess, where we had this nice little sell-off and we did find a level of consolidation, and yeah, I don't know why I didn't buy this. It was a really good buying opportunity. There was resistance and support. This was a nice level, and we rallied off that. And so I'm going to continue to find areas to buy the dip. Every single time we sell off, I'm going to be looking for, to be buying. Now, I could be wrong, but yeah, we broke through this major resistance. Here's this on a 5-minute chart, right? There's support, and support tried to become resistance. It didn't. We broke through it, and here we are again tonight. We are actually, it looks like we did pull back, tested it, held it again, and now let's see if we could go higher. If not, here is something I am considering. I'm only talking about the NASDAQ right now. I'll talk about other markets in a moment, and that is, and I know it's not just me. This is something that I'm sure a lot of people have heard of time and time again. I might have mentioned it briefly last year, but some of the best trades is you put your entry where your stop loss is. You put your entry where your stop loss is. And that's one thing I'm considering on some setups going into 2025 is when I see a good setup, I think I'm going to be willing to miss out if it just goes straight up, right? Or some level of that. So that's what I'm thinking of, everybody, is I've noticed in the month of December and a few other decent trading days for me, some of my bigger losses of the month or biggest losing weeks have been exactly that. It's been correct on direction, but wrong on timing. So correct in direction, bad on timing. And usually I'm always too early. I'm okay. I understand that I get into pretty early in a lot of trades. Everybody knows that. Everyone sees that. I go for that higher risk reward, and I get in early on a lot of my trades. And so I think for me to kind of counter that is putting my entry where my stop loss would typically be, depending on the trade, depending on the situation, and just depending on how the overall market's going to be. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that or how I'm going to approach it, but I'll be talking more about it in the weeks to come during Top Step TV when I'm on fast markets and slow markets, whenever I see a setup. And if I see that it qualifies for one of those where, hey, instead of my stop loss, let's put this as adding to a position, where maybe I get into one contract and then maybe that one trade's great. One contract, it worked out really well. But then I add to it if it gets to where my initial stop loss is. For example, if I want to get long right now, my stop loss would be below this pivot around 21,142. And then as I zoom in, it makes sense. It makes sense really well. Everyone who is buying this, their stop loss and my original stop loss would be right below that pivot. And that makes sense and it works, right? And so I would be okay with maybe entering in a, partial position and then putting a buy limit order where my stop loss is, for example. And so maybe something like that. This is purely an example. It's something I've been thinking of. Just little tiny tweaks in my trading to improve. Now, I know traders, I've been criticized a little bit. Like, why would you adjust anything if you've made $540,000 in a year and you went through a platform switch and you didn't really even trade in January? And well, I'm always criticized. That self-criticism being my own worst enemy, and always trying to find ways to improve. Now, this isn't going to be, I'm going to stay trading the same way, the same style. Nothing's changed that. Technical analysis, looking for the same setups. You guys see me over and over and over again. However, there's going to be some small tweaks this year. I'm going to slowly adjust and just see how they play out. And that's going to be one of them. It's going to be getting in where my typical stop losses are, depending on the market, depending on what market I'm trading, and depending on how things are going to be reacting. Other trades, just normal. I mean, sometimes it's that conversation of if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? If it's not broke and it's working and you're making money, then there's no sense of adjusting it or fixing it or any of that. And so let's take this Nikkei trade, for example. Let's take this Nikkei trade. This This is one of them. This is one that I was thinking. It really was. As I was watching the Nikkei, I had the setup on a higher time frame. So I want to walk a little bit more about this. This was one I was thinking, like, maybe should I just not even get into this long, and maybe I should just put a buy limit down here where my stop loss is. Like, this was one I was thinking. I'm like, no, this is a decent setup. I like this setup. I want to get in it. And if not, I would have a buy limit here around these 39,320s, for example, right? Because this is a nice area of support. And, this was one of those examples where, maybe the market does run off, sell, hit my stop loss, and then rally, right? I'm like, oh, I should have just put my entry where my stop loss is. And I came to the conclusion, no, because as I started to zoom in, and I watched this, this is the open for tonight, and I watched, there's a lot of traders who are probably buying this up. And so what I decided was, if I was already in a long to start the session, my stop loss would be below there. And so it would make sense for me just to buy it on this one. And then we sold off, we ran, and we started to break, and we ended up breaking through this. And so after we broke through this and bounced, that's when I got into this trade. And so I came to the conclusion on this particular trade just to get in as normal. This is kind of a consolidation trade. I could have got a little bit better of a pricing, which is that's okay. This is a 5-minute chart. I know it's ugly because there's low liquidity here in the Nikkei, and looking for this market just to return back up to the higher end of this range. Simple, straightforward. We're going to find out together if it was a better decision to put my entry where my stop loss is. My stop loss is at 339,220. Consider just tightening up just a little bit, but I did want to leave a little bit more room because I have the room to do that. So that was my thought process through this. And like I said, I'm going to get to your guys' questions in just a moment. I know there's a lot, but just bear with me. We still have, 45 minutes. Keep an eye on this trade. You guys can keep an eye on this trade with me, for me, however you want. There's my stop loss. The question for me right now is this stop loss should have been my entry, right? That's my first question. And then the second question is, that's it. I think that's the only question. Should my stop loss be my entry on this particular trade? I like the longs. I like the consolidation. I don't know. We're going to find out. We're going to find out together. That being said, let's move on. Let's take a look at these other markets. I'm going to take a look at gold, and then let's take a look at crude oil, and then we'll take a look at gold. So crude oil, gold. What's crude oil doing? Oh, we got that. Man, sometimes the best trades are the ones I don't take, huh? Yeah, that was... Sometimes the best trades are the ones I just do not take. This is one I was thinking for the past week or so. Crude's been in this range. I was seeing these ever so slightly higher lows and equal highs. And yeah, everybody knows how I felt about these longs, right? My ultimate target's going to be up here. I was looking for this market to return up towards the $75 a barrel. And yeah, this is one where the better trade, this is it. Simple, straightforward technical analysis. I've done it for the past week or two on crude oil. I talked about it with Coach Jay. This was a very simple, straightforward one. This market is now bullish. We are now in a bull market. Obviously, we did break out here in crude oil. And I'm looking for this market to continue up towards the 75s, and maybe we could get up even further. Maybe we could come take a run at these $77 a barrel. And so I'm looking to be buying the dip here in crude. Every little sell-off, I'm okay with buying. We broke out, and yeah, bullish crude oil. I like it. we've already rallied. We're past the breakout trade, and now it's time to buy pullbacks in crude oil. For the way that I'm looking at it, may look for a pullback, maybe a pullback at a level of support. Maybe we get a pullback to 72.20. I'd like to see a pullback to 72.20 to look for a long in crude, but maybe crude becomes starts to become better for us to trade it. Trend traders. I'll talk to Coach Jay on this upcoming Wednesday. Let's get. Oh yeah, it's. If you weren't here earlier, Coach Jay, we had some technical difficulties, so this isn't the best yet. I messed some stuff up and broke some stuff, but we are good to go now. Let's move on. Let's move on to gold, and then we'll keep bouncing back to. Can't have multiple sessions. Going to bounce back to the Nikkei every once in a while to check my trade, and everyone. Feel free, like I said, watch this trade for me too, please, while we see whether my stop loss is the better entry or if this is going to work out pretty well. Now, going back to gold, we're talking about gold. Just like, oh man, I mean, same thing. Like this is same thing as crude oil. We had that beautiful breakout. I'm happy because I bought some 1 ounce gold coins before the end of the year for myself as an investment. So I'm happy with this. I want gold to be going up because I bought some of those 1 ounce gold coins, and I'm trying to convince MP to buy it. Let's help create some FOMO, getting some of see if we can get MP to buy some Top Step gold coins before the gold price gets too high. But I'm looking for this market to return to these 2680s, the upper end of this consolidation. You can see as I zoom in, we were in this consolidation for quite some time. We tried to break out, sold off, went right back to the bottom, sold down here, and now we're right back into the top of this consolidation range. It's going to be interesting to see if this plays out again, and if we stay inside this range, maybe we come back down towards these 60s and we go into a range market. I'm not sure. I haven't traded gold for a while, actually, to be honest. But it's pretty dang bullish. Pretty bullish for tonight. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to my Nikkei trade and my live account, and then I'm going to get to some questions. Nikkei trade and getting to questions. I'm going to zoom in. We could watch this Nikkei. I want to see how it plays out. But so far, so good. So far, so good. I'm going to walk through, and I'm going to mark, actually, areas on where stop losses could be, right? So we're going to see how these areas of stop losses are. Because if I was long now, another area that I would move my stop loss is just below this level of support. So that would be my new trailing stop. This would be my new trailing stop. 39,370, and we're going to see if maybe this would be a better entry. And you guys, I know some traders here like to watch the DOM. Love to watch the DOM. Okay, I need a drink of water. Ooh, we're going to see how this water tastes. Oh, how it feels on my teeth. All right, we're starting to rally. I'm liking this. So far, so good. Let's keep it up. I want to see us get above this pivot. If we can. Okay, let me get to some of these questions. First stream of the year, and we have went through some technical difficulties. What's more suiting, huh? It could only be improved, right? This year could only get better with the break of the stream and causing some technical difficulties. The next stream's definitely got to be better. Dakota, do you sell insurance? I do not. Where do you buy your coins? Talking about my gold coins, I bought some online, a reputable company with certificates and everything. Thoughts on the EMA cross strategy? Been doing some back testing over 100 trades. 67 of them worked out. It depends on the risk reward and because right now you're telling me it has a 67% win rate, and It depends on what the risk reward is. But I mean, any strategy could be a very good and valid strategy. Just keep it simple. This is a huge position for the new year. Yeah, I mean, it's about average. This is an average position for me. 5 contracts. 5 contracts. And I do have a stop loss. Don't worry about that one. How many accounts how many accounts did you blow/lose? My one live account in July, after I pulled out most of the money, after I took out a big payout, I did go through a big drawdown, and then I was like, okay, I got some major slip. Yeah, everyone in here who's been in a while knows the story. I've lost some combines. Have a good night, pal. Thank you. See you, John. Ready for a gold NQ to start trending. I hope gold and crude oil becomes a lot more volatile. We've seen crude oil move a little bit, and crude's starting to break out. How do I feel about DCAing at the point where you would put your original stop loss? I do not like it. I've thought about it, but the idea that I've been pondering is putting my entry where my stop loss is, not DCAing or adding, building into a position while we get to my stop loss. My idea for 2025 is to see if I could tune my strategy. Everything's going to be the same. Everything's going to be the same. The way I do my technical analysis, the 3-bar reversal and all that. The main thing I'm just trying to figure out how I could adjust or be better at is, we all know that we're stop loss hunting, running for liquidity. Not so much the Nikkei, but more so the NASDAQ, where the NASDAQ likes to say this is where my stop is. I have it marked because this is where my stop would be, 39,370. Right now, that's a decent stop. Sometimes we run down, run the stop, and then rally. I've noticed that just way too many times last year on some of the better trade setups. So that's why I'm fine with going to be trying that. Not on the Nikkei. So I want to make sure that's clear. Not on the Nikkei. This is the Japanese market. I'm not so much on the Nikkei, but more so on the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ's pretty crazy, and this is the market that I want to test that on. I seen it today, and today was a beautiful example of what I'm referring to, where traders, myself included, getting long here, okay? Getting long into this zone right at, an hour after the market opens. The market runs stops, and then we have a nice rally. So this, where my original stop loss would be on a 3-bar reversal right here, would be absolutely an amazing trade. And I've seen this happen over and over and over just so much lately. I want to see if I could find a way to implement that, because it's a slippery slope. And I say it's a slippery slope is because who's going to have the courage to buy it at this point, right? How can you find the courage to just buy it here? Because it's kind of the opposite of a breakout trade, right? You're fading a breakout trade. Some traders are selling it to break down. Others are, and then we reverse. So there's definitely a way to do it, but doing it without, with having a system, I guess. I'm trying to think of a way to do it, because you need to do it just not blindly, not for no reason, not buying a falling knife, because breakout trades are really great trades. Breakout trades are really, really good trades, but there has to be context. And that's what I'm going to be talking about for the upcoming weeks of how would one do that? I'm going to be figuring that out myself. Was there something in the markets over the past year when the market does this? Does it signal anything to me, right? What is the signaling? Is there a way to do it? This, maybe I could put my buy limit order there and my stop loss be at, 157. Well, what if the market came all the way down to this one and then reversed? That's why I like 3-bar reversals, because 3-bar reversals typically help mitigate that. But I don't know. There's a lot to talk about. I don't want to spend the entire session tonight talking about it. And this has just been based off of my review and analytics and everything I reviewed over the New Year's. So a lot of people went out and they partied and they had fun and they partied for New Year's Eve, and I spent it with my one true love, and that was the markets and my trading analytics. NASDAQ didn't want to kiss me back at midnight, unfortunately. So I didn't get a midnight New Year's kiss. Yeah, we're starting to find some buyers in the market now. Why do I like to trade the Nikkei? Because the markets are open. Maybe next year the NASDAQ would kiss me back. Dakota, how do you define your trading style? Any swing trading as well? Lewis, yes. So there's a lot of different styles that a trade I could define my trading. Is what you see here at Top Step and what you see me do here on the Top Step accounts is primarily day trading, getting in and getting out of a position before the end of the New York session. So in and out throughout the end of the New York session. Some traders will consider this particular trade. If I hold this trade overnight, say I put my take profit up here, and I hold this trade overnight. It's night for me. It might be daytime for someone else because we have traders around the world. We have traders internationally. To me, I would hold this trade overnight because I'd be sleeping. However, the market does not close. So I do not consider this a swing trade. I do not consider this an overnight trade. I just consider this a day trade because I'm in and I'm going to be out within the same day. And I consider a day from 5 p.m. Central until 3:15 p.m. Central, because as soon as the New York session closes, it be closed out of all your positions, and everything in between has been considered a day trade. And I consider everything I do here with Top Step and on these futures day trading, day trades. Now, I do swing trade sometimes, and I consider swing trading over 24, 48 hours and holding for multiple days. I do that much longer term in options, and then every once in a while I'll reach out to the risk management team here at Top Step. I'll reach out to them and say, hey, I'm in a good position. I'd like to hold, say, one NASDAQ contract overnight, and then I have that discussion, because that's one of the amazing flexible things here at Top Step is once you get a live account, then you have that flexibility to do a lot more. You can have more in-depth conversations with the risk management team on, opening you up for your risk parameters and what you could do. And so I've had plenty of phone calls like, hey Ben, hey Mick, hey whoever, answers that phone or whoever I'm talking to at the time, and say, I'm in a good position. I'd like to hold this trade overnight. And they'll talk to me and they'll say, hey, we're going into my last conversation. It's like, we're going into the new year, and it's better for the system and process just be flat by the end of the day. You don't want to hold a trade into the new year. I'm like, you know what? That makes sense. So I just closed it out and I was done. And then you could have those conversations with the risk management team and have a closer relationship and more immediate access to the risk management team in a live account. And you have a lot more flexibility. So yeah, I love that. I really enjoy that with the risk management team. Which one is more easier for you? Breakout to the upside or downside? Upside. I am naturally a bullish trader. Naturally, I like to buy the markets, and so breakouts and buying markets are naturally easier for me. Um, I'm I'm a firm believer that in the long run, markets go up, right? Everyone who has a job that puts money into retirements, just like typically buying the market. And so a breakout to the long side is much easier for me. And if you continue to watch me over a long period of time, you'll see me take more long trades than I do short trades. And ironically, very, very ironic, some of my most profitable trades have been short. As ironic as that is, it's just one of those things. The market, when it does sell off dramatically, it sells off fast, right? When it goes up like a staircase, right? Step, 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 step. And then when it sells off, it's like an elevator. And then if we take a look at, say, the NASDAQ is an amazing example like that on, say, an hourly chart, right? Where we come and we look at this, right? Where, this is like where you skip a couple steps, right? Usually we don't see this crazy volatility, but yeah, we're trending, we're going up and up and up. And this is a period of what, 1 to 2 weeks, this entire period from here to here, right? And then in just 2 hours, 3 hours, we reverse over 2 weeks worth of movements. And so, yeah, over a period of time, if you're in a trade, typically I favor the long side. But then there's this type of movement that we always have to be cautious of. We have to understand these sell-offs do happen. But the longer you are in the market, typically I do believe that the P&L and the general bias is to the long side. So if you're holding a trade and say you just bought it the beginning of December, longs over 90% of the time are profitable based off of just what we're looking at on my chart right now. And then for that 1 to 2% of the time, the 2-3 hours, it's just completely reversed. And so if you tell me you took 100 trades out of this month, I would say 90% of them that were to the long side, depending on how your risk management is, probably would have worked out, right? And it depends on risk management, how tight's your stop loss, how big's your position, and so many other things. But if you look at this period of time and you continue to do that, there's been a lot more opportunities to buy the dip than there is to sell it, to sell the market. And you could look at that at almost any time frame on the NASDAQ that we just go up and to the right, and you can just say, hey, there's more opportunities over a longer period of time, and depending on what scale and sample size you're working with, the opportunity has been buying the dip. Like that's been the reality of the market that we're in. Now there's very small samples where selling is great, and that's why I said the majority of my trades are to the long side, but my most profitable trades that I have had is ironically sell short. And now very rarely do I do it. Yeah. Hope that makes sense to everybody here. Yeah, I think that summarizes the way I view the market. Now, there's no right or wrong way. That's just the way I view it. Yeah, I'm looking at a period of like a big sample size Douglas PC. If you're going to trade for a year and you're going to take 1,000 trades in a year, the bias, depending on the year, right, is typically to the long side. That's real pretty, isn't it? Are you talking about that sell-off? Why does the Nikkei update so erratically? So it doesn't update erratically. It's just the way the Nikkei is. You can see over here I have the depth of market, the DOM. It updates whenever there's a trade. So typically you can see the bid and ask. The ask is on the right, the bid is on the left. If the bid and ask could like move without an order being filled, that it'll only update the chart when an order's filled, or every 5 minutes, right? I have it on 5 minutes or 1 second or 5 seconds. If I'm doing it every 1 second, it'll just be a flat line, right? It's just flat. Like there's really nothing there. It very rarely moves. But then on a 5-minute chart, you won't see any updates or you won't see any move or an order being executed until there's an order executed, like in real life. It's a thin market, right? It still has a nice tight bid and ask, 1 to 2 ticks. And you can see, look, the bid's at 420, the ask is at 430, and the last filled price was all the way down at 415. And that's why it's so sporadic. I don't recommend the Nikkei for new traders. Definitely do not recommend it for new traders. But I trade it, and the fact that I trade it, I don't mind talking about it. Traders want to know what I trade and how I trade it. So here we are looking at the Nikkei. That's it. Yeah, the example I was showing you guys was a FOMC news event. And that's the reality of trading. There's going to be news events, and there's going to be data coming out throughout the year. Oh, man. I am. What's everyone's New Year's resolution? Have you guys been asked that? Has everybody been asked that yet? Did you guys I'm curious, here in slow markets, what is your New Year's resolution? I can tell you what mine is. Been switching between MNQ and NQ. Mine is to get a payout. Great. That's a good one. Pass more combines, being more patient, to suck less. 6 figures and buying a house. Ooh, that's a big one, TOS, but it's doable. What we do here in the futures market, that is doable. It really is. If someone tells me like, yeah, I would love to make 6 figures and buy a house this year. I mean, you tell that to a normal person, they won't believe you, but us as traders, we know that that's possible, right? It's not very, very unrealistic. I will say it's unrealistic for new traders and for an average trader to say, this year I'm going to make 6 figures and buy a house, or make 6 figures and do something with that money. And you tell a random person, they'll think you're crazy, right? But here in trading and here in this trading world, it's possible. It's doable, right? I mean, I gave myself a C grade on my trading, and I made 550,000. I've seen traders make more than that. I've seen traders make a little bit less, but 6 figures in tradings, it's doable. But I wouldn't change the way I trade based off of me wanting to get to a dollar amount. Does that make sense? So I wouldn't emotionally adjust my trading just to make more money. I think that could be a slippery slope. That could be a little bit dangerous, where you're now placing trades or changing your size just because you have a goal of making X amount of dollars. That could be scary. Process over profits. Process over profits. Segi, pay off my car, which is only 1 payment, thankfully. Awesome, Segi. That's amazing. That's great. That is a nice goal, right? Take a payout and use that payout to pay off a car. That is a great one. I've seen some traders do that this year. Not this year, last year. Consistency. Consistency is a great one. That's great. First payout, get to a live account. I like these New Year resolutions. Nothing too absurd. 6 figures in a house is kind of up there, but a lot of these are pretty realistic that I could see a lot of traders in here getting. Dakota, where can I find a mentor to learn from a proven edge? I'm not sure what you mean by that. You want to find a mentor to learn from a proven edge. I'm just trying to get a payout from being consistent. And it starts with that, right? Maybe maybe instead of one goal, maybe you could have, 4 smaller goals, quarterly goals, monthly goals, something small that you can see yourself hit and grow. For example, for the first quarter, you want to just make it to an XFA. By the end of March, I want to pass a combine. And then maybe you say by the end of June, you want to take your first payout. And it doesn't matter the size, just a payout. And then you want us to be like, maybe by second quarter, I want to take my second payout. And then fourth quarter, I want to make it to a live account. So something like that. Now I know that's kind of small for a lot of traders, like, oh, that's not big enough and this. But yeah, maybe that's a poor example, but you really have to be okay with some small steps like that. Douglas BC, no, I didn't. I wanted to, I didn't. That went to the back of my mind fast, and I never did get it. There you go, Sam. By the end of the month, I want to be less degenerate trader. You want to be less of a degenerate trader. Fair enough. Maybe you could even start on something like that. You just want to actually not. Maybe you just want to just not move your stop loss. Maybe you want to get to a session where you're like, I want to not hit my daily loss limit. Maybe you want to do that. Something simple. I want to be more stoic in my trading overall. How much money do you have to make before you can go live? Bond voyage, it depends. There's no set dollar amount from my understanding that you need to make in order to go to a live account. The risk management team evaluates traders by a case-to-case basis. Like maybe you only trade micros and you're very consistent and good, and you get transferred to a live account with 20,000, right? And maybe someone is trading huge and they end up like doing really well, and they get transferred to a live account with 250,000 or 200,000. Both can be good traders. Both. It really depends. It's up to the risk management team, and they evaluate everything. They evaluate, from my understanding, how many combines have you went through? How many XFAs have you went through? Like, how sporadic of a trader are you? Like, how's your risk management? And they look at the overall trader, and not just, oh, I made $20,000 this week, I should go to a live account. That's just not right. Because the overall goal has always been, since I've ever been at Top Step, from all the conversations I've had internally, from all the conversations I've had on Top Step TV with MP and the team, the number one focus really has been moving traders to a live account and finding good traders to move to live accounts. And then, honestly, some of those, the conversations that nobody sees on Top Step has been, what can we do better to help move traders to a live account? And how do we get traders to pass combines and get into XFAs and go through that? Which is why I'm still here. That's why I absolutely love what I do here at Top Step, and why I'm so dedicated on helping grow here. World Cup. What's the difference between an XFA and a live? You could receive a payout on both of them, but an XFA is still a simulated environment. A live is exactly that. It's real money in the markets. It's a real live account. You trade support and resistance a lot. How do you tell which support and resistance levels are stronger? I like to use higher time frames. So typically, the higher the time frame, the stronger the support and resistance level is. For example, I could say that this support is stronger than this support, because this support can be seen on a higher time frame. This support is on a much smaller. Now you could zoom out and say, look at the hourly chart, And yeah, you can see major, right? And then you can even zoom out and say, wow, there's also, this has been honored and it became support so many other times. And this, maybe now you can make an argument that this is has a decent strength. So there is some discretion on how you view support and resistance as an individual. Yeah, that's where I would say there is some discretion on which support and resistance do you consider or not. A weekly or daily level will get 90% of the time will give a reaction. Interesting. Yeah, daily and weekly levels are definitely stronger than a 5-minute or 1 minute or an hourly. That's the art of TA. The more you know. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've looked at one level of support and say, hey, this is the level I'm buying. And someone else like, yeah, that's a level of support, but it's not strong enough. And there is some discretion, and it depends on the individual's time frame and where they're looking, how they look at the markets. And sometimes the way I look could be wrong. I mean, I'm going to be honest. There's plenty of times where I say, hey, you know what? After I reviewed that, I should have never did it. I was completely wrong. Instead of buying here, I should have just waited for maybe the market to come down to these 39,300s and just bought this because this is a stronger support. And so there's plenty of times where I will review the market and say, what was I thinking? Okay, now I kind of see what I was looking at. But if I would have taken the time and maybe looked at this, I would have not put myself in that type of spot. Can you look at gold real quick? I did analyze gold a little bit earlier in the stream. Cutting losses fast. I'm seeing gold retesting a key level. Would you buy here if it was the NAS? Not sure what you're referring to as quote here. Let's get to a few more of these. We are coming to the end of class. What are your tips for taking up a new product to trade? How do you know when you're ready to put live money on it? So EH, this is a good question. And I'm going to go based off of my own personal experiences. For example, Nikkei. The Nikkei Japanese market, I've only been trading this, and I say only because it's been a year and 3 months now. A year and 3 months to trade a market is not very long. I will trade a market for 3 to 6 months before I feel comfortable putting live money into that market. For example, Nikkei. It took me 3 months before I was comfortable trading it in my live account. And the beautiful thing about prop firms, like here, if you want to test out a new market, what I was able to do, which was nice, was I start a new combine. And with that new combine, I traded the new market. And if I pass the combine with the new market I was trading, then great. I'm going to keep trading it and then, pass, go through that whole process with a new market. And then essentially the market will tell you if you're ready to trade that in a live account. So that was nice. That was really nice to be able to use a prop firm, and you're only risking the cost of the combine, right? And then an activation fee compared to putting, $10,000 or $5,000 to trade a new market. You're only risking $150. And then if you pass, okay, I'm in at $300. And maybe I've taken payouts. Maybe I'm able to do this compared to $10,000, $300. I mean, it's pretty simple and straightforward, and it's very, very beneficial when, number one, learning to trade. Number two, maybe you know how to trade to prove consistency. Or number three, you just don't want to put the money into another account or learn a new market. MacGyver, congratulations, passed your first combine. Looking forward to 2025. Hope you had a great holiday. Congratulations, man. That is the best way to start off the new year. Passing a new combine. Passing a combine is a great way. Quantum Blue, this man is always losing. Then you have horrible timing on watching. Watch Top Step TV. I don't know. 70% of the time I'm losing. Watch Top Step TV, any of this. Yes, ever positioned to a buy NAS. If I fail, God, not sure what that means. Thanks for the answer. Trade last NQ trade he do was REASF. Not sure what that meant. Do you have a best day of the week? For me, it's Monday. I don't have a best day of the week. Oh, people hop into an internet YouTube chat and troll all the time without any. It's like you go to some event and you have no idea what's going on, and then you decide to like talk negative when you still don't even know what's going on. You only trade the New York session? Well, then watch it. Everything's on YouTube. That's the nice thing is here everything you see is on YouTube, and you have the beautiful thing of watching recordings and watch them. Yeah, if you want to watch my last NQ trade. I think it was $5,000 in the positive. I don't know. Everything's recorded. Watch all the recordings. That would probably be the best thing for you. You might learn something. Yeah, you might learn something if you watch some of the recordings. Oh, and guess what? You know what? Actually, you know what? I have something really good. Who wants to see this? And you know what? This, let's see if I could find it here. Let's see if I got this. So this is special, everybody here. Quantum Blue. This one is just for you. Quantum Blue, this one's for you. I got something for you. No. Be nice, everybody. Be nice. Just be nice. We have to be nice. Okay. Quantum Blue, this one's for you. Go ahead and fill that form out, and yeah, come on, Top Step TV. I'd be more than welcome to have you. I'm sure the team would be more than welcome to have you. There you go. Come on, let's see it. Anybody who wants to, they could come on Top Step TV. It's open. It's open. Top Step does it all the time. Any trader that's worth their weight and can trade half decently, we welcome. And everything, like I said, everything's recorded. There's a reason why I made 540,000 this year and give myself a C. And you guys only get to see what I do at the Top Step accounts, right? You guys just get to see what I do at Top Step. I won't share anything that I'm doing on my personal accounts. There you go. There's the link. It's there. It's open not just to him, to anybody, which, even if you're not a troll or you don't know what you're talking about, fill it out. I know Top Step's amazing. Anybody who wants to come on, fill it out. You could come on and join Top Step TV. It's fun. It is. You might have a little more pressure if you want to try and trade in front of thousands of traders. Oh man, 2025 is going to be fun. 2025 is going to be fun. It sure is. Rich D, you don't need to be number 3 to be a friend. I mean, 2025 is already starting to be quite the year. First day in, man. Day 2. This is day 2 of 2025, and here we are. Where did he go? Motocross. I'm. Should I do the? I wish I did the reversal challenge in my live account. Yeah, I had a great ending of the year. Right, I made what 16,000 during that New York session. Was down 5, made 16. I ended up like up 12,000 or something. That was a great day to end of the year, and it's already a great start of this year. There you go. Danielle in the chat. There it is, Robert. Thank you, Danielle. I don't have to prove myself, but I'd love to see other traders prove themselves. TopStep has given an amazing platform for traders to come and prove themselves. It's great. And if not, you don't even have to prove yourself. You just do your own thing, do consistent, make your own money, and you don't even need to be like shown. I mean, there's traders there's plenty of traders who are great traders who are just anonymous. They don't care about the spotlight. They don't care about being on TopStep TV, and they stick to trading their own. And sometimes that's usually better to do. Is you trade your own, you stay in your own lane, and you work on yourself. You work on your own trading, and that's it. Danielle. Yeah, you know what, Danielle? You know what we need to do? We need to just get. We're doing the. What are I don't know if there's any title for it, but any profits that I make in one of my accounts are going to charity trading. I'm excited for that one. To be able to trade for charity. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm trading for BACA, Bikers Against Child Abuse. That is the charity I am going to be trading for. I'm excited for it. And there's a lot of team names, right? Team names is something I'm going to be working on getting my trading team's name. And maybe I put it up for a vote. I don't know. We'll see. There's a few of them I'm thinking. Hey, I'm very, very picky, Danielle, about a team name because I'm going to be that's the team name for the rest of the year, right? Sometimes I'm a bit too picky and the opportunity passes. Adding one more in queue. Can we drop suggestions in the hat monthly for the charity? Maybe. You know what would be cool is I wonder if we do charity for one payout and then I could switch charities for another payout, or I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I'm excited for it. Just the fact that we're able to do this, and it's coming from TopStep to be able to trade for charity, and it's super fun. Super fun. Yeah, I seen that, Douglas. Fun. Yeah. All right. Well, I stayed a few minutes past because I had those issues starting the stream. So, yeah, tomorrow is Friday. Today's trading day is Friday. Now, remember, if you haven't traded, just be safe. Don't want to end the week. Don't want to start the new year out on the wrong note. I mean, win, lose, it is 2025. It's going to be a great one. I am going to be on tomorrow during fast markets. And then let me just double check. I believe I am on tomorrow, not just for fast markets, but man, it's already 2025. It just gets me. Whenever I type or sign my name or put a date on any of them, it always gets me. I have to get used to writing 2025 and not 2024 because it gets me. So I am going to be on tomorrow morning. I'm excited for that. And then, of course, guess what? Oh, I don't know. I'm a little nervous, Danielle. I am. Yeah, it's on my calendar. Honestly, I think the reversal challenge makes me a little bit more nervous than the live account because I'm taking the reversal challenge more serious. Well, not more serious. How more serious can I get than my live account? But I'm taking the reversal challenge on Fridays serious. I see how you have me down as on my win streak. Yeah, it's a 2-day win streak, right? Or is it one? Is it 1 or 2 weeks? You guys are counting these now? Okay. Process over props. 1. Okay. 1 day. So this is the 1 week win streak starting 2025. Here's the question, Danielle. What happens if I go all of 2025 without losing? Do you think it could be done? Do you think I could go all of 2025 without losing a reversal challenge? I don't think I'll ever be able to do it, but you never know. It starts with day 1, so far so good. Okay, there's going to be prizes. Okay. All right. Well, that being said, I think I'm dragging it out too long. Man, 2025 is off to a bang. Had some challenges. Finish it up. I am in this trade here in the Nikkei, long at 39,430, and we'll see where this one goes. I will be on Top Step TV tomorrow morning during fast markets and again during the reversal challenge. And it is Friday. And the first week of the year is basically in the books. We'll see the markets start to smooth out a little bit. And I will see everybody here. If not tomorrow morning, then tomorrow afternoon or Sunday night. Take care, everybody. Thank you, Danielle, for being in the chat and providing support on that one. See ya.